wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, we warned you. Send me money. I have not had a tan in weeks. I need a tan. I need to go to Florida. Send me money. Send it. Oh, and I play the drums too. Send the money. Oh, and subscribe to Monte and the Pharaoh. Later.
Wrestling fans, now you too can look as cool as Monte and the Pharaoh by wearing the official Monte and the Pharaoh sunglasses at night for $8.99 each. That's only $8.99 each. Now available at monteandthepharaoh.com. We know what you're thinking. Did they fire off 6 fascinating points of interest or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all the excitement of watching and listening to Long Island's #1 wrestling podcast, I've actually forgotten myself. But being this is the Monte and the Pharaoh from Indie Music Studios in Ronkonkoma, and the fact that they were talking to yet another champion wrestling star, one of the most powerful and talented performers from the wrestling franchise, and not to forget well-informed and provocative interview questions asked and answered. It was such an interesting and entertaining hour, the questions nearly blew your head clean off. Now you've got to ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Do ya, punk?
What? Yeah. No, I'm behaving myself. No, I'm not playing in abandoned buildings. What? Again? Now, I suppose you had those people follow me again. Fine. Hey, this is Jimmy Pharaoh from Monte and the Pharaoh, and I want to thank all our subscribers. We have now passed 14,000 on our YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monte and the Pharaoh. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts. There's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh. Later.
All right, welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh, seen here every Thursday from 9 to 10 p.m. Filmed directly out of Indie Music TV, straight out of Long Island, New York. At the board, as always, the master producer, Matty Ice. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good.
Thing about you, Matty, is got some new shows coming to Indie Music. Matty's going to start really getting busy producing a bunch of shows. I don't know. I'm happy for you because we love having you around, but I'm a little jealous. We're going to have to share you a little
Jealous?
bit. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm loving it.
I know you are.
Any thoughts on him?
I love producing, so doing all this, throw him at me.
Any thoughts on him being jealous of you working with others? Does this worry you, concern you? He might stalk you, you know?
I'm not too concerned. I mean, you know, I'm always a fan of having fans.
Okay.
Fan of having fans.
He's the fan of fans? Oh,
Did you ever,
no.
did you ever see the, did you ever see the movie The Fan
Yeah, way back.
with De Niro?
Yeah, way back. Yeah.
I love that movie,
Yeah, I
man.
kind of remember that. Yeah.
Me and my
Don't be
father
like
always
that.
talk about that movie.
Yeah, that's a
But it gets
movie.
stupid at the end when he gets in the
Yeah,
umpire's
I
outfit.
remember it being extremely stupid.
Yeah, it
there
gets,
was
like,
something
really
very, very
dumb.
cheesy about it, yeah.
And if you guys didn't know it, that is the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh. Jimmy, how are you, my friend?
Howdy, hanging out. Another...
Doesn't it feel like there's a
Flipped out week?
lot of gaps between our shows? I don't know why.
It's the holidays. This is what shit happens during the holidays.
Well,
So this is what happens.
Need your feedback.
How you doing,
Jamie
folks?
Dundee was on the show
Jamie
last
Dundee.
week. Thoughts on that
He
interview?
was fucking super cool and super real. That's some of the realest opinions I've heard in the few short years we've been doing this show. I thought Jamie Dundee was absolutely awesome. Quite honestly, he didn't pull any punches. He told us how he felt, and I understood how he felt. I did. I did. I can fully understand that the business, the success gets in your head, makes you a different person. Then it's gone. Then it's hard to even, get back into that mindset. I totally understand that. So it is what it is.
What I thought was cool is Jamie.
I wish he had shown up that day, of course, but he apologized and he explained why. That's it.
Well,
it's all good.
Jamie wrote me and said that Dutch Mantel reached
I
out
to like a lot, by the way.
I know you all of a sudden become a big Dutch
man. A lot
Mantel.
of respect for
I'm
that.
not a big
man.
fan of that mustache.
I love that mustache. It's what separates him from everybody else. I like that mustache. It's great on him. Why?
So wear a fake one, get rid of it and make a fake one.
Oh, you mean him? Oh,
yeah, not you.
Oh, you wouldn't like me with the Dutch Mantel mustache?
I'd be like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
What the fuck happened to the Pharaoh?
Fuck, where's that?
He's flaking out, right?
By the way, you are growing a beard. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah, either that or I'm getting lazy.
It's one of the
I think that's what it is.
So anyway, Dutch reached out to him and said that he doesn't really like watching shoot interviews.
Okay.
In fact, he can't stand them.
That's cool.
But then every so often he'll watch it a little bit. He can only watch for like a minute or two.
Right.
But he said that he caught Thursday. This is what he wrote Jamie, and this is Jamie sending the message to Monte The Pharaoh.
Fair enough.
Is that Dutch Mantel said he was stuck on that interview for the entire hour.
Thank you, Dutch Mantel. Much respect to you, sir.
And believe me, it's okay you have that mustache, Dutch.
Yeah, leave him alone. What the hell? That's a great look for him.
Even though you were in Puerto Rico and...
Let's not get started with that. Why don't we maybe someday ask him that ourselves?
Yeah,
maybe.
I guess, maybe.
He wouldn't probably even answer it. Nobody answers it. They all dance around it most of the time, unless you're Tony Atlas.
Unless Tony Atlas
goes
right
right into it. But yeah, I got you. Not that I blame them for dancing around.
Sad news, wrestling legend Blackjack Lanza passes away at 86.
Yep.
WWE Hall of Fame icon passed away.
Yep.
His most successful run was with tag team partner
the
Blackjack Mulligan.
Yeah, the Blackjacks.
Chairman Vince McMahon announced the wrestling icon's death on Wednesday. However, no cause of death was revealed.
Right.
Pharaoh?
Well, he made it to 86. To me, that's a great grade on the report card. I mean, he had a long, full life. It's sad that he has passed away. What I didn't realize, and it's interesting how some things come out after somebody passes on. I had no idea he was like the major booking agent during the Attitude Era.
Oh yeah, he
That's
was.
pretty important, don't you think?
He was a big deal
behind the scenes. So Vince obviously trusted and loved the guy. I mean, how bad could he be? Look at him. By the way, that's cool. Look at the Blackjacks were awesome. What a great look. Like two Stan Hansens, and I love Stan Hansen.
I got to tell you, I'm a huge Wyndham, Mulligan, that whole family.
They're great. They epitomize wrestling to me.
Oh, absolutely.
At least the Southern approach to how things should be.
Some good news, Hacksaw Jim Duggan is claiming that he's cancer-free.
Yes, that's fantastic. I mean, you don't ever want to see it happen to anybody, but when it's a guy like Hacksaw who's so lovable to begin with, that's a great thing. I mean, what more can I add to that except I was very happy I saw the video, and I'm very happy that he's okay. I love Hacksaw. Hacksaw was one of my favorites younger days. I loved it. I enjoyed him very much. Very much.
This week, I know near and dear to your heart, also myself, it was John Lennon's birthday.
The one of the roughest days of you look back on your youth and there's so many great days. You think about all the fun you had when you were a kid and stuff. Well, that was one horrible day for this kid. I still remember. I think I was watching Monday Night Football, if I'm not mistaken, and I heard Howard say it, Howard Cosell, and I thought I was hearing things. I said, "There's no way he just mentioned this." I was like, "It can't be." And my
it just gave me chills, by the way.
Me too.
I remember.
Me too.
I remember that moment too because I was in bed.
Okay.
And my father was watching Monday night, so their room was across. They had the door open. I'm asleep. Not sleep. I'm just sitting there in the dark, whatever I'm doing. Sure. And I hear it on Monday Night Football. So go ahead. Explain that moment.
So now my father, and I've said before on the show, my father turned me on to the Beatles when I was 3 years old. There was a major connection between me and my dad was enjoying Beatles music together. So, of course, there's a little knock on my door as soon as I heard that. And the second I heard my father's knuckles hit that door, I said, I didn't hear this by accident. My father's about to confirm this. And I opened the door, and we were just broken up. We were broken up. We had lost our favorite musician. The Beatles are my favorite band, and John was my personal favorite Beatle, and to this day influences me in my thinking, in my songwriting, in my attitude, which is the smart-ass portion of me. You can thank John for that. John was a smart-ass, a very smart-ass.
By the way, Phil says Morrison's birthday, Lennon's murder day.
Correct. Correct. And by the way, that is my other favorite musician. So my two favorites in the whole world are Jim Morrison and John Lennon. So I've always found that to be very bizarre, that one was the birth and the other was the death. So
interesting enough,
very
though,
strange.
I think you should share with the people watching that you felt, and please elaborate, that if Lennon had lived a longer life, he may not have been as so admired.
Because of and what I mean by that is because we all know that John Lennon was very, very much politically active as far as his opinion. I do think that John Lennon, if he had maintained the course that I feel John Lennon was politically, he was very much a liberal. And again, there is nothing wrong with being either way. It all depends on your degree of which way you go with it. I wonder if
Was
John...
he a citizen of this country, though?
Yes.
He was?
Yes, John made sure he became a citizen of this country. Yes.
I did not know that.
John loved America. He did. He loved New York. That's why he lived there.
Phil says, I saw it in the morning paper and heard it on the radio as my mother was having toast and coffee.
Yeah, I do wonder if a John Lennon had lived today, what he would have had to say about a lot of things. And I'm not so sure I would have agreed with all of them. He was a very, very, very radical liberal. So who knows? I don't like a radical on either side, to tell you the truth. And I don't want to make this about politics, so I'll make that quick.
How about his music, though?
His music was fantastic. I did not mind how I loved how he spoke through his music. Even
on in the later years. I mean, look.
Yes.
Yes.
But what I've always felt though is the words in Imagine, as gorgeous as they are, and how much they're beautiful and they resonate. I don't think the world could ever be that. I mean, it's so optimistic and it's so wonderful, the things that he hoped for in that. But a world without no religion, I can't see it. People are always going to have their religion.
What's
a world
the name,
without
what album is that on?
What, Imagine? I think it's Imagine.
No. The later album with the
the last album was Double Fantasy.
Yes, so Double Fantasy I bought.
Woman, I think, was on that one.
Some good
beautiful
songs, but I got to tell you, some really
Beautiful.
shitty songs on that album.
Was
too.
there? Well, I know it was a huge hit, but it was a hit before he was,
Real Number 9 says, I don't shed tears for commies.
Well, good for him. That's your opinion.
Was he a commie?
A lot of people thought he was because he was very, very liberal. He spoke out against a lot of things.
I don't
Some
think
of
that
them
makes
he
you
was
a commie, though.
You know what? That's what happens when you label people. But don't forget, who said that?
That was Real Number 9.
All right, Real Number 9. Don't forget what James Hetfield said, though. You label me, I'll label you.
He says, imagine.
So be careful with the labeling.
He said, imagine is a Marxist love story.
Imagine is actually, to me, just a very, very optimistic thing that could never happen anyway. And some of it I actually can't see any of it happening. A lot of the things he spoke of in Imagine, especially the no religion.
Well,
we know how that goes with the human
By the way,
race.
we're going really deep into the pool here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the guy was a great Beatle and my favorite musician. And by the way, does that make me a commie for liking his music?
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure? We want to make sure.
I could stand pat that I would agree with. I think you can enjoy someone. You may not believe their. Well, this is why when you're an entertainer, you really should keep your political views to yourself, right? Because in the reality,
Michael Jackson too.
What was that?
What's that?
There's Michael Jackson. So like,
What about him?
did terrible things, but good music.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but that's different.
Michael wasn't involved in politics.
But
though.
but what you're
Stay
saying is,
far away from that.
I'm sorry. When you do things like that, Matt, and you can weigh in, you should stop liking the music even though you like the music. It's like the freaks that like Chris Benoit, the wrestler. The greatest wrestler of all time. Well, I'm sorry. His sins of murdering his family don't allow people the right to like and enjoy his stuff anymore. So I will say Michael Jackson may have made great music, but since he was a pedophile, I think I really can't listen to his music anymore.
you
That's
don't?
fair.
Is that what you're saying? You don't. If you hear Michael, you turn
I
it
will
off?
not listen to Michael
Very
Jackson.
interesting. That's cool. I respect that. That's fine.
John Lennon, on the other hand, he has political views. That's his right to have those political views.
Right.
But on the other hand, as an
All right,
entertainer,
yeah, different. Yeah.
but then I talk with forked tongue because we have wrestlers on all the time, and I ask them their political views. So what the fuck do I know?
Forked tongue.
I want to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monte and the Pharaoh and Jimmy Farrell, along with his partner Bart Griggs, make up the great band, the Wisteria Hall.
That's right.
Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain. Really looking forward to a new Wisteria Hall album.
And more importantly, Wisteria Hall stays the fuck out of politics. Next.
They do. Go to the Wisteria Hall YouTube page, hit that like and subscribe. Download their music out of Spotify, Apple Music, Reverb Nation, or where all music is sold. And if you didn't know it, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. You can catch Monte The Pharaoh on the Monte The Pharaoh YouTube page, the Monte The Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Twitch TV, Monte The Pharaoh page. And if you live in New York, you can catch us on channel 115 every Tuesday from 9:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. And for early risers, channel 115, 6 a.m. to 6:30. And on channel 20 in SNL time at 11:30 till 12, where we've been lucky enough to have over 80,000 viewers watching us weekly. We thank everybody from New York, and we thank everybody from around the United States and across the world in showing this show some love. We love you, and anyone that's dealt with us, I will say that we really do love you. It's just not lip service.
Ah.
You like that lip service?
Yeah, it's not just yada yada.
We'll be right back with this week's show. Monte The Pharaoh present, Is It Better to Break Up or Make Up? Pro Wrestling Couples.
We shall return.
Tired of that same old breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Same old tasting scrambled eggs, burger, that dinner steak, ribs, or pork chops? Why not add a little bit of spice or just a touch of heat to make the difference? Change that scrambled egg with a little bit of Johnny Fabulous's John Cena Sr.'s $1 Million Jalapeno Hot Sauce. Great on burgers, steaks, chops, and those barbecued ribs.
All right, welcome to Long Island's #1. Welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. I'm sorry, I'm a little. So a couple of things. I'm going to read some really good comments. Alberster Figueroa says Wisteria Hall is a hell of a band.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The real #9 says Jamie Dundee will make it to heaven for John Lennon. So
Man, he's not letting go.
No, he isn't. But I will tell you something.
Well, no, real #9 is that the real Revolution #9. Let's clarify.
But be
his tag.
careful about the gimmick, because we've met the real Jamie Dundee since the interview.
Right.
That guy's a hell of a guy.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not the Jamie Dundee that you see over YouTube acting like a knucklehead.
I would actually be more careful deciding which ones are going to get in before someone else. That's somebody else's job, and it ain't yours.
Here's one. So first I'm going to open it with this.
That's the maker's job.
PJ. I'm going to tell you, I really, and I know the Pharaoh and I, we love you, and we love the fact that you on the show, and we want to send you some stuff. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I told Pharaoh on break.
What's going on?
There's two things I will trigger me.
Okay.
One is when you talk poorly about Jesus Christ.
Okay, that's a problem with you.
And then in the wrestling universe, it's when you try to make excuses for Chris Benoit. So I'm going to read your comments.
What
then we're going to retort.
Who said this? This is somebody.
PJ Taints, very good guy.
Yeah, what's going on here? What do you got?
Maybe Benoit didn't do it.
Oh, no.
Maybe he got home and found them gone and only did himself. Maybe it was someone else.
No.
You want to weigh in?
No, it wasn't. We got to stop with this already. You know how many wrestlers we've had in here, and they all privately say the same thing? They can't get over the fact that this guy did what he did. Stop making excuses. The guy flipped out, and I really don't know what it did. Was it that made him flip out? But he flipped out, and he did what he did. So stop it.
He murdered
his
wife.
You got to stop.
He
put Bibles next to them. You got to stop.
This whole nonsense is that he called Chavo and this and that. The guy premeditated the murder of his family. And you know why he killed himself, PJ? Because he murdered them and he knew he was going to go to jail for life.
Yes, of course. He took he did a cowardly thing and then he finished it off. He finished himself
off. You murdered your family.
Stop. Please stop.
You got to separate the fake wrestler with the sicko human being.
Yeah, it would be a good idea.
And I'm sorry, PJ. That one,
it would be a
I
good
just
idea.
can't. I won't.
I mean, you know
go.
that I'm always interested in Charles Manson. You think I don't think that fucker shouldn't be in jail for his entire life, rotting away the way? Of course he should have been.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I think he's interesting or whatever the hell, or I found him an intriguing subject to study, but my God. And I don't think it's a stretch to compare Charles Manson to a guy who kills his whole family and leaves Bibles next to their bodies, especially the little child. No, I don't think it's a stretch. You know what I'm saying? I really don't.
Thank you.
So what are we talking here? Psycho meets psycho.
A mess says you can never go wrong listening to Ozzy or Motorhead. I miss Lemmy.
I so freaking agree. Ozzy and Lemmy, thank you very much. Absolutely.
Davio says Charles Manson said the Beatles were the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah, Charles Manson thought a lot of things. He thought that in the White Album they were talking to him directly, directing him to do Helter Skelter. Yeah, Charlie was real big on messages coming from the White Album.
Phil says he met Chris Benoit at an
Phil
interaction. Yes.
Phil DeCesare. What's up, Phil?
Made me feel that something was definitely way off.
You know what? Phil's a very smart guy. We've gotten the chance to speak to Phil. Phil's as sharp as they come.
But he is Switzerland, so if I ask him,
it
Phil,
doesn't matter if he's Switzerland. That's his option. He's smart.
I'm going to ask him.
Smart.
Post on here, Phil. Did Chris Benoit kill his family, or did someone set him up?
Phil, don't be Switzerland. Let's have it. Thank you, bro. Okay, that's fair. But the fact that Phil sensed it, I'm with him.
All right, so
I can see that.
Hot news off a fresh interview, well, not really a fresh interview, but a freshly aired interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
Just days, the Jeff Hardy was released by the WWE for refusing rehab.
You know, it's funny. I've been noticing, I guess because we've been watching Jeff Hardy. I know I've been watching Jeff Hardy since the late 90s.
And by the way, Phil hasn't responded yet. So
he's thinking about it.
Right, drawing that line.
He's thinking. Phil, answer the question, Phil.
Phil, Switzerland.
Come on, Phil.
Go ahead. Jeff Hardy.
You're throwing me off here. Yeah, I've been watching Jeff Hardy for decades, pretty consistently, whether he was here, whether he's
consistently
in TNA,
drunk.
Wherever he was. And I could tell in recent weeks Jeff was off. I'm like, what's going on with Jeff? He seemed to have a very distant look in his face. And all of a sudden, there's this, Jeff, for some reason, cannot stay sober for too long. I don't understand what the problem is.
Because
I really
when you
don't.
go down that road...
I don't get it. Is it because Matt got separated from him and now he's all by himself
No.
right now? And he's back to doing his habits. There's nobody to reel him in. What are you doing, Jeff? What are you doing?
All sorts of addictions happen. By the way, Phil says... Love you guys. I'm thinking Benoit did it.
Thank you,
You
Phil.
shouldn't be thinking. You should say
he
did
it. He's saying that. Don't make him like, yes, Benoit did it.
That's what you say.
He's saying
yes,
there.
and burn in hell.
He's saying there that he's thinking that
All
he
right.
did it. Good
Anyway,
job, Phil.
Back to Hardy.
What? Go ahead.
Life is full of addictions, right?
Right.
Alcohol, drugs, food.
Sure.
Food.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Sex.
Oh, yeah.
Gambling.
Let's never
right?
mind.
Okay, so we all, certain things are stronger than others.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And once you go down that road, trying to break away from it is a very, very difficult thing. And look, I could equate it to this. In life, as you're growing up, you try out, I'm just going to use for example, you try out for a sports team. Mm-hmm. And it's tough. Mm-hmm. And you quit.
Okay.
And then you quit a job. Quitting.
And then you join the army and you cap your knees to get out.
Well.
And you quit.
Very funny.
And you quit.
Inside joke.
Yeah. Yeah. We've seen those.
Quitting is an addiction.
Right.
It is.
Right.
Once you get used to it, it becomes easier and easier and easier.
Right.
When you do drugs or alcohol, it becomes easier and easier.
Right.
So, Jeff could have been doing a really, really good job. Marty Grenfell says the problem is called alcoholism and the cure is AA, plain and simple.
Right.
Marty? What?
Man.
I'm not an alcoholic, but I will tell you, I totally get it.
Yep.
You've got to constantly work at these things.
But
life is a hard work.
What I really don't understand, I wish sometimes these guys who have made it successful could try to freaking remember what it was like before they were successful. You are working for the #1 pro wrestling company in the world. You are being paid a sick-ass salary even today. Jeff Hardy's salary, I'm sure most of us would die for. You can't get your shit together? You can't get your shit together. Stop it. What are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? To me, it's just like, Jeff, how many times, and I suppose all those indie marks will go crazy right now. Oh, someone take care of Jeff Hardy. You know who's going to wind up? You know who would have footed the bill? Vince. I'm sure he said, we'll send you to rehab. I'm not going.
Wait a minute. Hold on. This is very interesting. Davio says, so if anyone doesn't know, right, we filmed something called This Week in Pro Wrestling, right?
It's on Fridays.
It's on Fridays.
That's right.
So
right
Pharaoh was
SmackDown,
saying that
on this channel,
right? That's right. And Pharaoh was saying that wrestling really has to start because the state of wrestling's in bad shape, all the way around. As much as people want to say it's in good
Could
shape,
be a lot
it's
better.
And Pharaoh was saying how things have to become real again.
Yeah.
Right? Because the curtain call, as it was great for that time, eventually ruined the business,
it is
along with
ruining it
the
now.
Stone Cold what, right? That's examples.
Yep, it's
But
ruining it
Davio
now.
says, I think it's a swerve. There's been talk pitched that Will-O-the-Wisp will come to face Roman. Is this possible? Because you know what? I'm not so thinking that is so off base.
Wouldn't that be cool if they did something like that? But I got to be very honest. I was never a fan of Will-O-the-Wisp.
But the fans love Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, they love Jeff Hardy, but Will-O-the-Wisp? Really? Against Roman Reigns? That's.
By the way,
I'm not
PJ
going
says in
crazy
all
for it.
seriousness, he do it. I just love to stir the pot.
Yeah, he did a good job, PJ.
You did, PJ.
Yeah.
You fucked up the show.
No, he did. What?
got me mad. He got me upset.
That's good. We got
I
some
love
emotion
PJ.
out of you.
I
Here,
got-
step on your foot. Let's see what happens.
Too funny. No,
Come
PJ, we
on.
love you, man.
Great job, PJ.
Oh,
Great
my
job.
God. Do
Great
you
job.
think this could be a work?
I would love it if they did something like that. Would you shock me once in a while? Can you legitimately surprise me, WWE? You know, what is think about the shock of the surprises we get nowadays. It's AEW. Look who we stole from WWE. Is that all wrestling has for me? I want a real shock, and that's not a real shock. Oh look, it's Will-O-the-Wisp.
But here
I want something juicy.
Here may be the problem. To get off of that, it could be
Yeah.
the problem with professional wrestling.
What?
Recently signed Aaliyah Hutchins joins the WWE.
Okay.
Aaliyah's
Is that her?
5'5", birthplace Toronto.
Is that her?
She is a Canadian athlete.
Yeah, I
yep,
wanna see
that's
her.
her.
Oh wow, she's beautiful. Okay.
No wrestling experience whatsoever. Not one bit of wrestling
Okay.
experience.
All right. Yeah. No thanks. Well, can we train her for a year and see what happens? You know, I guess.
Do you think the WWE is so involved in marketing these athletes that they're just grabbing names? Like, you no longer need a wrestler anymore.
Right. I don't know.
It's like, I'm going to make you a wrestler.
Right. You know what? That's what the new NXT feels like. A lot of it. I'm like looking at these people. I'm like, I'm not interested.
But some of them look like wrestlers, though.
Some of them. You hear the crime in what you're speaking? Pro wrestling, even Frankie Williams looked like a pro wrestler of some sort. There's I can't take it anymore. Can we have a full roster of accomplished wrestlers? What the fuck? The new NXT is, by the way, why the fuck is that book on the desk again? Why the fuck was that book on the desk again?
I'm sorry.
Jesus
It's got so life,
Christ.
it comes floating back
I
after
see
you
that.
leave.
Oh, look at it. Woo! It wants to come back again. This is unbelievable.
It's floating in
Doesn't
the
it know
air.
it's washed up and done? Stay over there. Get the fuck out of
Mr.
here.
Unknown says AEW Z's. Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
We were talking about that
the card that
fucking
was
card
in-
on Long Island.
The card
if I
that-
would have went there, I would have threw up in my mouth.
Yeah, the card was not that great. Are you kidding me? This is what you brought to New York? No thanks. No thanks at all.
All right, so the theme of this song is couples, but one couple not making the top 10 is Charlotte and Andrade. But Andrade and Charlotte Flair reportedly are still together.
Oh,
Andrade
really?
blast fake news.
Fake news.
AEW star Andrade and the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair are reportedly still together.
Okay.
It was recently reported via Body Slam that Flair and Andrade broke up. It was a not a mutual decision. It was made by Flair.
Mm-hmm.
This report came after Andrade recently unfollowed Flair on Instagram and removed some recent photos. The original report was noted the relationship was ended a few weeks back. In an update, word now is that Charlotte and Flair and Andrade never broke up, and it's reported they're still very much together. What are your thoughts?
Interesting. The Columbo and me thinks a couple of things. Well, first of all,
I love it. I love it. You're smart.
First of all, ma'am, first of all, El Idolo or whatever the hell you call yourself, if the two of you had not broke up, why did you unfollow her publicly? So you unfollowed her, which means that it wasn't exactly like the two of you were agreeing on what to get at the drive-thru. Something was wrong. So you unfollowed her. And then you tell me afterwards that you're still together and it's all fake news and you're jumping up and down. I want to know one thing. How come Charlotte has had nothing to say during any of this? Where's Charlotte's public comment? I bet you she told them privately, fuck you, keep me the fuck out of whatever the fuck you're doing. I don't know what's going on here, but Charlotte's got
Maybe
nothing
she's trying
to say.
to have him just save face or whatever. I think
Funny how
I
she's
think
got nothing to say, though.
I think she's done with him.
I think so, too.
I mean, she's got nothing to say publicly.
Look, you can't be married to a person you can't even communicate with.
Are they married?
Well, you can't date, marry,
Yeah,
whatever. They were engaged.
Yeah.
You can't, like, honey, I'm home.
Right.
¿Cómo está?
Well, I would think after a while, the sex, you got to eventually talk.
Sooner or later.
Sooner or later. So, yeah, eventually there's got to be some sort of communication. Unless, of course, you're that guy who got his mail-order bride from Korea or whatever. Who was that guy we know? Wasn't there somebody who got a chick in the mail? And he just goes out to wrestling matches and sits at home and writes books about himself?
Writes books about himself.
Yeah, very interesting.
By the way, recently, Monty has gained a fan, so I want to give a special
Monty
shout out.
A fan or a stalker? Which one is it?
I was
Because the Pharaoh gets stalkers.
You get stalkers.
Yeah,
This is a fan, so I want to give a shout out, personal shout out from Mike Monty to Kerry Burns. Thank you for all the support you give the show, and we're glad to have you on board. And welcome aboard, Miss Burns. It's
Very nice.
great to have you. With that, we'll be back after this commercial break with It's Better to Break Up or Make Up, Pro Wrestling Couples.
The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I just got the best hookup on tickets.
Fill me in.
I went to www.seatslinks.com and ordered the best tickets with the best prices.
Call 718-676-0504. SeatsLink, the complete ticket experience.
Tell them Charles sent you.
Elm Logistics. For all your logistic needs, call 631-299-3595. That's 631-299-3595. Elm Global Logistics. Pride, performance, and partnerships.
All right, welcome back to
What the fuck? The thing came back. The freaking book levitated and came back on the table.
I told you, it's got
It's got
a life of
of its own, but it sucks. Why does it keep coming back? Stay over there!
I'll tell you, that book is gets more exercise than the guy who wrote it.
That guy doesn't get any exercise. What the hell are
You
talking
think?
about? Unless it's powerlifting a donut to his face. What the hell are you talking about?
Get out.
Oh, my God.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's number one pro wrestler broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen out of Indie Music TV out of Long Island. So, Pharaoh, we're going to talk about the top 10 couples in wrestling, but I want to ask you...
Wait. Can I have one question though,
Sure.
before we talk? Why?
I
hate this.
You hate this.
Of course I hate this. The 10 couples in wrestling.
Romance and
Gives a
wrestling,
shit.
baby. Romance and
wrestling. All right. Okay, Mike. Let's do it.
But let me... I'm gonna ask you... I'm going to name a couple of couples. First of all,
You name
in the
a couple of
Pharaohs...
couples?
Couple of couples.
Felix and Oscar?
That would be one.
Lamont and Fred?
That would be two.
Okay. All right. Ralph and Alice?
Ralph and Alice,
Yeah.
three.
Edith and Archie?
Edith and Archie.
Yeah.
Richie and his brother, what the fuck his name
Richie and his brother Chuck?
Chuck, yeah, Richie and Chuck.
What the fuck? They weren't a couple for one episode.
So-
See you
let me-
later, Richie.
let me ask you
See
this.
you later, Chuck. Yeah, what do you got?
Who do you think was the best couple in the history of wrestling?
Elizabeth and Macho Man. It's the only
You
thing
answered that pretty quick.
Yeah, it's Elizabeth and Macho Man, in my opinion. I mean, on screen for shit, sure. Maybe not necessarily.
Hey, look, the AEW apologist in the house, Mike Messier. How are you, buddy?
What's up, Mess?
Mr. Unknown says, how long do you think AEW will be around? It's sad that it's been around longer than ECW. What a joke.
Has it?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Jimmy Fingers in the house. He says Perry Saturn and Moppy might be the best couple.
Chavo and Pepe?
Loose Cannon, my friend. How are you, buddy?
There we
Crushing
go.
it,
What's up,
baby.
Luz?
Love you,
What's
man.
up? What's up?
Listen, one thing I will say is the issue I have with AEW is its fans. We were talking about the show. The problem with them is they go to the bathroom with their hot dog and they eat it while on the toilet doing poo.
Reading
and then they
wrestling
don't wash
rumors,
their hands.
Reading wrestling rumors.
And reading wrestling
And
rumors.
then accidentally wiping with the bun.
And wiping with the bun.
Yeah, that's rough. And then they come back and, they
sometimes
breathe all
the
over
poo,
you.
Sometimes the poo hits the hot dog and they still eat it.
Right.
Because that's what kind
Right,
of
and
fans AEW
And then when they
are.
get done with the poo in the bathroom, if the match is poo in the ring, they still chant, "This is awesome."
This is awesome.
No
That
matter
is
what,
right.
even
That
if it
is
sucks. Yeah, okay. That sounds about right. It sounds about right.
Loose Cannon says HBK and Sonny. Oh, wait. Roy Batiste says Mae Young and Mark Henry. Yeah.
Oh, what a... He gave birth to a hand. Case closed.
Davio, Flair, and Fifi.
Davio. Yeah, Davio's on it. Davio's on it. Flair and Fifi.
How about Bubba Ray and Velvet Sky? What do you think about that couple?
Bubba Ray and Velvet Sky. Man, oh man, I never understood that one.
Well, you don't have to understand anymore. She kicked that fat ass to the curb.
Yeah, I never.
Bubba Ray!
I never understood that
You're
one.
out of here, boy.
Yeah, I mean, you don't look at him and go, "Wow, he's hot."
No, you know what
what's
I'm
the
thinking?
Story?
I'm thinking she's like, I really like him, and then after a couple of years of hearing that guy putting himself over, he probably puts himself over in the bedroom.
Yeah, right.
Man, was I great!
I was great, Velvet. Oh yeah, you love this, don't you? I'm the best.
Velvet, get the condoms!
What? What? Get the condoms right through the table. What?
Singer says AEW marks a delusional. Velvet, get the condoms. Mike Messier says Beulah and Kimona.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Mess, give us a few more. You got the mind for that. What else you got?
PJ says here about the Bushwhacker bringing back a promotion to Jersey. Yeah, we heard about it.
Yeah. I just saw Bushwhacker trying to cut a promotion. I was like, dude, bro, what's wrong with you? He reads like Coco does. Remember Coco? Coco, all you got to say is this. So he was like, I got to say what? I was like, man.
Jimmy
oh, man.
Fingers, Goldust, and Ahmad Johnson. And Billy and Chuck. Billy and Chuck I like.
Billy and Chuck. Man, oh man. You know, they had big ratings that time when they got married.
They did. That was
Boy,
great.
was I like losing my shit.
I loved
I was
it.
like, wrestling's done. I remember thinking that then.
That might have been Jumping the Shark, right?
I was
That's
like,
where they killed
yeah,
it?
that was Fonzie with the shark. I'm like, Billy and Chuck? What is going on here?
Velvet, get the condoms.
Yeah, pretty much. Wouldn't that be funny if Devon was in the corner of the room? Like, it's like, Devon, what are you doing here? I figured you might need a table spot. You know what I
Devon,
mean?
sit and watch because I'm the best at everything. Watch me screw Velvet, and you can bring that home to your wife because I'm Bubba Ray Dudley.
With LaGreca refereeing
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. You can't put that in an armbar. That's a wiener.
LaGreca, no
That's
matter
great.
what Bubba Ray says,
That's great.
right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have a visual, so
Right.
when you listen, but
Right.
no matter what Bubba Ray says, this is LaGreca. Oh, Bubba, you're so funny. I told you,
Oh,
Dave,
man.
I'm the greatest. Just ask Velvet.
Oy.
I know everything.
That's rough,
I'm
man.
Bubba Ray Dudley. Fucking douchebag. All right, anyway.
God, I like Bubba. I'm just having fun, douchebag. Boy, that's rough.
Velvet don't like him.
Yeah, that's true.
I got to be
true.
honest. I was looking at Velvet. I was like, what is she
Velvet's
doing with that guy?
gorgeous,
She's
man.
hot as hell.
Oh, my
What are you wasting
Lord.
your time with that
Who
tub
the
of shit?
fuck knows? I don't know.
All right. At number 10.
Oh, we're going to start now with these great glamorous couples? This
Yeah,
is
here we
the
go.
10 greatest of all time?
No,
or,
no.
Or currently? These are the ones who are together right now. This 10 list. I
Yes,
think
this
so.
is come together
Yeah,
right
okay.
now.
All right,
yes.
so here's the current 10 most...
At number 10, Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella.
I like them together. I think that they're a good combo together. I can't believe you have me commenting on shit like this. I actually think that they're a good couple, and they seem like good people. I've always liked Brie a hell of a lot more as a person than I've liked Nikki, from what I know,
Right.
which ain't much because I don't know them personally. But from what I've seen, I think Brie is pretty cool, and I kind of like Daniel Bryan as a person. He's fairly mellow. You know, I would probably smoke a spliff with him, although he's a weirdo. He loves nature, but he probably doesn't smoke pot, which makes him weird in my mind, but that's okay.
By the way, MS says Bubba Ray at one time became a porn director.
Really?
Davio says Hardy, Lita, and Edge. That was cool
That was
as
great.
shit.
That was great. That was fantastic. Hardy,
Mr.
Lita,
Unknown's
Edge
getting
was
sick. He doesn't want to hear about Bubba Ray anymore.
great. Don't blame him.
Maria loves Daniel and Brie. I do too.
I do.
You know what? I like that.
I agree. Hey,
Jimmy
Maria.
Fingers, Sunshine, and gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. Love
Nice,
it.
very nice, Jimmy. Very nice.
I
Very
love
nice.
that.
So
Big fan.
we both like the Daniel Bryan Brie Bella combo
Yep.
then. Okay.
Number 9, Bianca Belaire and Montez Ford.
Why do I like this couple?
I
do.
love this couple.
I like this
bro.
couple, and honestly, I think they'll be together for a very long time.
They
This-
really
this-
seem
They seem to truly
like
dig each other.
they do.
Right? And it's a good relationship.
and they look good together.
Boy,
when you're a
boy,
couple,
they're both great in the ring too. Like,
Dude.
can I be a mark for a second?
Yeah.
What great wrestlers these
They
two
are.
are. Montez Ford's
but
insane.
in any
know?
relationship,
Built
the
like a
scale
tennis
has
player,
the
but
scale
insane.
has to be even.
Yeah.
So, like, honestly, Bubba Ray is, like, kind of macho-ish, I guess.
He's rough
and Velvet
he's
is
rough
hot.
and rugged.
Velvet's hot, but they don't look good together.
No.
They look like some fat toad and a hot chick, right? The two couples we just named, they fucking look good together.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
They make. I mean,
they're good matches.
They
yeah.
are
Yeah,
great
they're good
matches.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
All right, this one I know you probably hate.
Can't believe
Number
I'm
8,
doing this.
Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes. Maria Davis, very handsome, very attractive. Totally agree. While the Pharaoh throws up over the Rhodes family.
Well, it's not that. It's Brandy. I'm sorry. Brandy's beautiful and all that other good stuff, but
it's not that stupid ass tattoo Cody has on his neck.
No, I don't. You know what? That is a stupid ass tattoo. I agree with that.
Which is worse,
it's a stupid
the Phil
ass
Brooks
tattoo.
Pepsi tattoo or the Dustin Rhodes? Not Dustin
Cody.
Rhodes. Cody Rhodes.
I'm gonna go with the Pepsi.
Red, white, and blue.
I'm gonna go with the Pepsi logo because
over the neck tattoo. This is
why.
worse than that.
I'll tell you why. Because not only is it a Pepsi logo. First of all, what are you doing? I mean, what am I gonna get Mountain Dew on my leg? You know what I mean? Number one. Number two, it looks like shit.
It does.
That's like, dude, who's your tattoo on? It's some blind dude who's taking acid? I mean, it looks terrible.
All right, but this
Terrible
Cody
tattoo.
and Brandy, again, they look good together.
Yeah, they do.
They
physically. But I just can't.
And Cody's a good wrestler.
Cody's fine. This is not about Cody. Every time I see Brandy, I'm like, you don't belong in this business. I don't give a damn.
Understood.
I just feel that way with Brandy. I don't know why. I mean, she's gotten a little better over the course of time, but she can't even light a table on fire correctly. She burns her husband. Guy gets lit on fire. Did you see all the things down his back? Brandy is a wrestling clusterfuck to me, but that's just me.
All right, number 7, Edge and Beth Phoenix.
I dig this couple. This is a surprising couple,
ESO
by the
says
way.
his tattoo sucks. It does, buddy.
Hit that tattoo is over.
Luce says Cody's ink is cringe. Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah. Cody's neck thing is right up there.
Oh, wait a minute, Jimmy Fingers. Dan Marotti and Tony Atlas's wallet.
What a bitter divorce that was.
Oh.
That was a rough thing, those two.
And again, a little...
And you know what I heard? I heard the wallet filed for an order of protection. The wallet.
That is...
Because the wallet was like, stop molesting me.
By the way, Lou says Brandy is a dish.
Yeah, Brandy's beautiful. I'm not going to say she's
All
not.
right,
She's
back
gorgeous.
to Edge and Phoenix.
I've always found this to be a surprising couple.
Really?
Because, okay, if I can be candid, I don't find Beth Phoenix attractive.
Wow.
She's like, she's got an amazing body and everything, but she's so big, muscle-bound, Edge could date a porn star if he wanted. Edge could date a stripper, whatever you want. Or the most beautiful girl in the world. Edge could date, the most ladylike. Edge could have them all. So I always found this to be an interesting couple. However, they obviously love each other very much. So thumbs up to them.
Here's what I like about that.
You're asking me.
Here's what I like about that couple.
Yeah.
Beth Phoenix to me seems like a down-to-earth,
She's
normal
cool.
human being.
She's cool.
If you notice,
She's
she
cool.
puts
Very
on a
talented.
little weight. She gets a little heavy.
Right.
And and
then she works it off.
And then she works it off,
No,
just like
she's
everybody
cool.
else does. A lot of people in life.
Listen, I'm not saying she's unattractive. She just doesn't do it.
No,
for
I get
me.
it. They're
I
not.
always thought she was
they're not
little,
a power. Sometimes they're probably not the best-looking couple together.
Right.
But I got to tell you, I love that couple.
Right. I always found it surprising, and there must be real love going on there. They've been together quite a while
Guys,
now.
you'd never realize that I got the Pharaoh to sit here and talk
This
about
is killing
couples.
me that you're doing this to me. I feel like
You're doing very good on it.
I can't stand myself.
Now,
for
this is a great-looking couple. I'm
What?
sorry.
Oh, no.
Number 6, Jimmy Uso and Naomi.
Boo. But yay for them. That's fine.
Maria Davis, cute couple, very personal. Totally agree.
Yeah, they're fine together. Obviously, they dig each other. But could somebody do something about Jimmy always getting in trouble? I mean, Naomi, could you stop your husband from
get him
getting
a
in
little
so
bit.
much trouble?
Yeah, sure.
That worries me.
Dude, I got to tell you, I
But they're obviously a
find
good couple.
Naomi so attractive, dude. I mean, out of this world attractive.
Interesting.
Very
Tell me why.
Beautiful lady. She's just sexy, man. Everything about her is sexy. And Uso, I got to be honest with you, he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah,
He's a very good.
Yeah, he's
like
not bad.
they're a power. That's a power couple right there.
right.
They look good together.
Right.
They're a good match.
Interesting.
If anything about Total Divas was true, they seem
Which I
like they
never
got
watched,
along
so-
really well.
Right. Okay.
But
You see them being together 20, 30, 40 years from now?
I do.
Interesting.
I
Well,
do.
then that's all that really matters.
I see.
That's all
I-
that really matters for any of these
This is true.
couples.
This is true.
You know.
At number 5, we've got Miro and Lana.
Another couple that I never quite understood, almost like Edge and Beth Phoenix in reverse. Lana is obviously drop-dead gorgeous. wowsy wow. There's nobody she couldn't have if she didn't feel, if she felt like it. You, and you. Miro, big giant caveman. Not really sure, but I know that absolutely turns some women on to have big giant caveman, and that's kind of cool. So, but I always thought that this was a strange couple.
When I look at that couple, Jimmy,
I do not see them together a billion years from now. I don't know why. I just don't. But we'll see what happens. They've made it this far, so who knows?
I see a woman that's very smart, very attractive, gorgeous, and I see, like you said, macho man, but who loves his woman.
Yeah, he does.
And
he's
to
very
me,
funny. The one thing I do remember from those shows is he was trying to teach her a lesson about how she barely wears clothes. So he went out on the lawn and mowed the lawn in a thong.
Yep.
That was some funny
That was great.
shit. Yeah,
Roy Batiste says, someone take Jimmy Uso's keys on New Year's Eve. I think you may be right, sir.
And take them the other 364 days, too.
All right, number 4, Renee Young, John Moxley.
Wow, what an interesting couple. I like this couple on the surface, I'll tell you that. I do.
Jimmy Fingers, Dawn Marie, and Al Wilson.
Okay.
Come on, man. Oh, my God. Do you remember that? Holy
yes,
shit.
I
forgot all about that, Jimmy.
I do remember that. Boy, it was that bad.
PJ, Mr. Mick Foley, and Mr. Sacco.
They were a couple? Mr. Sacco?
That's right. Mr. Sacco got sticky every so often.
Yeah.
Got hard.
How you doing? That's bad.
Moxley, Renee Young.
I like this couple. I've always liked Renee Young. I think she's extremely cute. John Moxley is, not a bad-looking guy. You'd probably rip into him, but I don't think he's a bad-looking guy. I wonder, though, they've been tested quite a bit already with the relationship. I mean, you had him leaving and her staying, and now she's gone, and now he's in rehab and all this other stuff. Interesting. I'm not sure where to put them, though. How come you have them ranked so high? I get this is more for profile, right?
I think
that makes sense because they are a very high profile.
They're very high
couple
profile.
Right now. Yeah,
if
sure.
all the couples we've named,
do you see them lasting?
No, this is the one.
Yeah, I worry about that one. Yeah, I could.
They're not going to last,
and it'll be Renee that breaks it off.
Renee will end it.
Although John's a strange
Renee will
guy.
take care of her kids.
He might just walk the hell out one day. John's a strange dude, man. Who knows?
And obviously we know he has issues. Davio says Missy Hyatt, John Tatum.
Okay, all right. That works.
All right, so we got, number 3. Love this couple. Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins.
Great couple. Can't wait to see them on screen together.
That's what they're missing.
We talked about that. Yeah, I want to see the two of them heal up and just drive everybody crazy. I think it would be
Mr.
fantastic.
Unknown, Teal Hopper and his plunger.
A plunger. That plunger can cause massive problems. Back up the whole relationship.
A mess says Renee can do really good Goldust impersonation.
Okay.
Look at her footage right after Wrestling Days, long before WWE. That's pretty funny.
So
what do you think? I agree with you.
Yeah, I want to see them
Seth
heel.
and Becky heel together.
Absolutely. Just drive both divisions absolutely insane.
How great would that be?
And do lots of promo work and lots of
I agree with you.
Absolutely. Give me more, and give me more of Seth Rollins any day. I'm sorry. And for those of you who hate Seth Rollins, that's his job. He's doing it well.
And I got to tell you, I don't know Seth Rollins personally, but I get a good vibe from him that he's just really a good guy.
I love Seth Rollins. I'm a huge fan of Seth Rollins and have been for years. He is fantastic.
And I got to be honest with you, I don't think Becky's far off from the image that she puts on TV. I think she's a little full of herself.
Interesting, very interesting. Becky's awesome. Becky's a great.
All right, here's a superpower couple at number 2.
Okay.
Miz and Maurice.
Love this couple. I love this couple. They're entertaining as hell. I mean, even that dopey TV show they got, You might catch me on there for 5 minutes. I might actually stay for 5 minutes because, What is it about Maurice that just drives me nuts? She's so hot. What is going on there?
She's just cool.
Is that the
and
accent?
She's smart.
Is it the accent?
The accent. She's smart.
Interesting.
I gotta tell you,
is she like way above the Miz though? Like, what are you doing with the Miz, or is Miz good looking guy?
No, I think the Miz
good looking guy.
Miz is entertaining in wrestling, and I bet she's just as entertaining to her at home.
Yeah, probably. What about his goofy father?
The goofy father rules, dude, with his long hair.
He's hilarious. Oh my God.
Maria Davis says, I like them, Becky and Seth. Absolutely.
Oh, Becky and Seth.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm a big Maurice fan.
Yeah, me too. And I love the Miz with Maurice. I feel like the only time I can really look at the Miz as a main eventer is when she's with him.
Yeah,
I love the two
You
of
could
them
see the
together.
difference when she was
There's
out
a
with
huge
him,
difference when he's
with Edge, and then he was away. Yeah,
when
great.
she's
great
next
point.
to him, that guy, you could see him being a world champion. You know what I mean? They're great together. Absolutely great.
And number one power couple,
Oh, this is so obvious.
Stephanie McMahon and Triple H.
That's for shit sure. The big time, the big time, the big time. Although I wonder.
And they
right
look
now-
good together.
Yeah, they do. They actually are fit for each other, and they always have been. You know, although he had to knock her out and marry her in a drive-thru in Vegas, that was kind of rough.
That was rough.
Oh, wait a minute, was that real?
Dude, what are your feelings about Triple H right now? Do you think this is
Worried.
a lot worse than
Worried,
we
very
know what's
worried,
going
and
on?
also angry for him. I don't want to sound like one of them idiotic marks on the internet, but I am angry with what, he got ill, and Vince has wrecked NXT, and I'm not happy about that. He's like, he undid all of Triple H's hard work. I have a problem with that. I am worried about Triple H. Where is he? He's had nothing to say. He's been lying very low, and apparently he was very, very ill.
I'm thinking
You know,
he took.
I'm worried.
I'm thinking he took a massive heart attack.
I mean, it's
And
gotten,
again, this is a purely speculation.
he might have. I mean, it's gotten to the point now where Triple H is so quiet that now you're reading that Nick Khan's going to run it when Vince steps away. He's going to give it to Nick Khan to run the business and let the wrestling people do the booking and write the shows and stuff. But Nick Khan's going to, not Stephanie, not Triple H, Nick Khan. This is where we're going at this point.
Well, so this is my envisionment,
It's
to be
very
honest
strange.
with you.
I don't know what to think.
By the way, just real quick.
Not Tony Khan, by the way. Nick Khan.
Davio says Kevin Sullivan, fallen angel. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
God willing, I wish they would have stayed together. Maybe the outcome would have been much better.
Hey, wait a minute. Not one person wrote the Pharaoh and Missy Hyatt? What's going on here?
No, that's a good point.
It's unbelievable.
PJ says, I wonder if she gets mad at the Miz, she makes him watch The Real World. Very funny. Yeah.
Okay.
My belief is Stephanie McMahon will go into politics.
Oh, no. Why? For what? To do what? Run as what? What's she going to be, a congresswoman? What are you telling me?
maybe.
Oh, like her mom.
Senator? Yeah, sure, why not?
Oh, very interesting. I guess so. Yeah.
She's not stupid. If you notice, she's kind of separated herself. It is an interesting fact. So if anyone didn't know, this week they were celebrating the first women's main event in the history of Raw.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
was supposedly Lita and Trish Stratus.
I
But
still
if you
remember
really
that.
look in history, I believe the first main event was in 1995 because I started to look.
Right.
Not that I care, because I don't really care. You say what you want, but if you really, I think it was Medusa and
Is that WCW?
no, WWE Raw, the first women's main event on Raw.
That closed the show?
The main event, yeah.
That closed the
So
show.
Lita and Trish are,
That I remember.
that's what they keep saying.
That's what
But
I
if you look
remember.
in 1995, I forget who the wrestler was that wrestled Alundra Blaze, but that was the main event.
What, Medusa versus Pat Patterson without a
No,
bra?
the Oriental girl.
Oriental girl?
Yeah,
There's a
we got to look it up. I forgot the name.
Mrs. Fuji? I don't know who you're talking about, the Oriental girl.
Mrs. Fuji.
What a clue. I wonder. Wasn't the hell did they call that team? The flying bombs or whatever the heck they were? Who was that Japanese team back in the...
Flying Bomb Angels. or
Yeah,
whatever.
those chicks go way ahead of their
Lou
time.
says Triple H still very sick.
Yeah, he must be.
Again,
He must be.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I
thinking.
don't know what's
I'm
going
thinking
on
he
here.
just took a massive, massive heart attack.
It's not good, man. And I trust Triple H. I like what he did with NXT.
I just liked him. Period. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
like Triple H. Period.
We'll end this before commercial with the number one group. ESO says Leilani Kai. No, Bull Nakano. Jimmy, you're right. It was Medusa against Bull Nakano.
Okay,
That's
now-
right. That was the main event. Thank
now
you.
you know why nobody.
But the number one
remembers.
couple, and see if you could get a picture of them, Matt. Maria Davis says Iron Sheik and Dan Marati.
That's the number one couple.
That's the number one power couple.
Wow. When did they file for divorce?
We'll be back after this commercial break where we bring back our special segment Head to Head, where we're putting Jamie Dundee against Wolfie Dundee. PG-13.
Wolfie Dundee. Wolfie D. Marati, not number one. Pa! Puh! We be back. Ah.
Jimmy, I gotta take a dump.
What?
No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well,
For all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP. And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack.
In the mood for a freshly roasted cup of coffee? www.offtherailscoffeeroasters.com. All right, welcome back to Long Island's number.
It's back. It's back. It's back again. Excuse me, folks. Oh!
Are you okay?
No! Hi. Go on. Carry
Are
on.
you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
What happened?
I don't know. I elbow dropped it. It's a hardwood floor. By the way, can I get medical from Vince? Thanks, Vince.
Is the book dead?
I hope so.
The book with a... All right, so hit the tape, Maddie. Head to head.
The most anticipated match in the history of professional wrestling for the heavyweight championship of the world. Are you ready? Wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, from the capital city of the United States of America, Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
All right, head-to-head between Wolfie D and Jamie Dundee. So the Pharaoh's going to give the rules as we're going to measure these two pro wrestler superstar and see which one is the best. Pharaoh, go ahead.
I
buddy.
don't remember the rules. All right, let me try to remember. Okay, folks, we got 5 different categories for head-to-head as we have done in the past. Category number 1, mic skills. How do you speak to the audience? Are you engaging? Is it something that you can, get a grip and bring the ratings up with the communicative powers of your mic skills? Okay. Number 2 is mat skills. Mat skills. Are you good in the ring? Are you bad in the ring? Are you engaging in the ring? Do you even know how to put on an arm bar? If you know how to do things, stay there! If you know how to do those sorts of things, then obviously you are a champion of mat skills. Category number 3. The back of the baseball card. One of my favorite things, your resume. Am I going to hire you to flip burgers and take orders at the drive-thru, or are you basically going to be throwing out the trash? What do you think? Category number 4, the it factor. Are you Hogan, or are you SH in front of the IT? You do the math, folks. And what's the final thing? The impact on the industry?
Impact on the industry.
What sort of footprint have you left?
That's
Or if
right.
you're Rikishi, what sort of ass print have you left
There you go.
on the business?
Very good.
So there it is. We're going to take the 2, put them together, and do the 5 subjects and
glad I
see who
come
the
back.
winner is. Is that thing coming back?
No, it's
All
dead.
right, that's
Kill
good.
it.
That's good.
Oh, I'm laughing.
God,
All
I
right.
think I would have returned my library
All right,
book by now.
let's
All right.
introduce our first contestant, Mr. Jamie Dundee, my friend.
All right, Jamie Dundee, born July 5th, 1971, obviously Australian, American professional wrestler. Best known for his appearances, obviously, in the USWA.
Oh, wait a minute. Rick B says Party with Marty's been canceled due to insufficient funds.
What the frig? Didn't they hear the plea at the beginning of the show?
Well, I'll tell you guys.
Somebody needs to get a tan. What are you talking about?
Before we get this real quick, I'll tell you,
What's up,
I was
Rick?
on the phone with Marty today, and Marty and I are meeting
Monty.
with a studio about a movie.
Right.
And I did ask Marty when he was coming back up to Boston Wrestling, and he said he is officially done with Boston Wrestling.
What happened over there?
So you heard it here, breaking news.
Wow, very
All right, go ahead. Jamie Dundee.
Interesting. Looks like no more tanning on the beach. Yeah, Jamie Dundee, of course, as I said, Australian-American professional wrestler, best known for his time in USWA. Of course, worked in the WWF with PG-13 and Wolfie. A little ECW action, a little WC action, WCW. JC Ice, of course, and of course he is the son of the great Bill Dundee, the awesome Jamie Dundee.
And the opponent,
Here's
Mr.
your-
Wolfie D,
His opponent,
who has a
Wolfie
show
D.
on the channel every
That's
Wednesday.
right.
Wednesdays with Wolfie D.
Wednesdays with Wolfie, who also gave us a killer interview. Thank you, Wolfie. Born in 1973, December 7th. American professional wrestler, obviously. Best known, of course, just like Jamie, for his time with the WWF with PG-13. ECW. He did work in NWA as a former tag team champion. He's done some TNA, and he's done a whole bunch of things there, Wolfie D. He's the other half of PG-13. So we got PG-13 going up against each other. Very interesting. Who came up with this one, troublemaker?
Not for injury trouble. I just thought it'd be interesting since we both had them on recently.
That's true.
Right? And
That's true.
They have a little bit of heat going on between each other.
A little bit?
All right, so let's
Okay.
go. Let's
right.
measure it up.
All right. Why don't we, you want to start with mic skills? Let's do mic skills.
Sure.
Go ahead. You go first. What do you think? Mic skills. Wolfie or Jamie?
So to me, it's pretty close. Wolfie's got some really decent mic skills going through the industry, but then Jamie, on the other hand, is a little bit more entertaining on the mic, I think, where Wolfie takes the approach of the straight wrestler, where Icy Ice, Jamie Ice, Jay Ice, whatever his
JC
name
Ice.
was,
Yep.
whatever, he was probably a little more engaging. So I'm going to go with Jamie on this one.
I'm gonna agree with that. I'm going with Jamie. You know what's interesting though? Wolfie gave such a good interview. It's almost like I saw things that we never saw when he was wrestling. It was like, why don't you let him talk a little bit too, a little more?
That is
'Cause
true.
He's pretty good, pretty damn good at talking. At least he was with us. I was like, man, he's pretty good, you know. And then he's good on his show. But I have to give that to Jamie. Jamie's got the gift of gab, and it's very obvious, and he's very gifted with his mic skills. Very gifted. So I don't even think it's necessarily close on this one. Jamie's tremendous, tremendous mic person. How about Matt skills? Want me to go first?
Yes, please.
Well, I have to go with Jamie on this one because, he's got the family bloodline, and his repertoire was more all-around fluid and, to me, solid.
Mr. Unknown said JC Ice. That's right. I'm
Yeah,
always
JC
talking about
Ice.
it. So you're going with JC Ice on the Matt skills.
Yeah, I am.
Why?
Well, like I said, once again, he's the son of a Dundee, and it shows. He was always fluid in the ring. He was always good in the ring. I just feel like he was more of a complete, from birth. You could see it. He's just a natural at it. I mean, come on, he's not Bret Hart, but then again, who the fuck is? But I thought Jamie's, he's got the edge on him in that category. Now, by the way, they're both good. So far, at both these categories, they're both at the very least good. But I got to go with Jamie on that one. What do you think on the match skills?
I'm gonna go with Wolfie on this. I think
Okay,
Wolfie
that's
was
fine.
more the pure wrestler, where Jamie was more the gimmick wrestler.
Interesting.
I don't think it's
Interesting.
necessarily a blowout. I think I can't disagree with you for
No,
going
I don't.
with Jamie.
Not with Matt skills. It's not.
Yeah,
This is a tough one, but I'm going to go with the Dundee on that.
All right,
one,
so
but-
you got Dundee by 2-0. I've
Right.
got it tied 1-1.
You got 1-1.
Next,
Okay. Well, how about back of the baseball card? I'm going with Wolfie on this one.
I'm gonna go with Wolfie on
Yeah,
this one
I'm
too.
going with Wolfie on this one. Wolfie had a few more belts. I mean, he was the USWA heavyweight champion. For some reason, that never wound up on Jamie's waist. I'm not sure why. And also, Wolfie was an NWA tag team champion at one point. So I'm going to give it to Wolfie. I think Wolfie's got the better back of the baseball card, oddly enough.
I'm going with Wolfie too. So you got Wolfie, you got Jamie 2-1,
Right.
and I've got Wolfie 2-1.
Wow.
So
this is getting
we're
interesting.
split, which usually
Okay.
doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, that's good. So what are the last two? It Factor?
Yeah.
I got to go with Jamie.
Oh yeah.
I think Jamie has more
I
of
mean
an
that
it factor.
that to me is probably the bigger distance.
I got to go with Jamie on that one. He's just got more of an it factor, and it's again, it's the whole package. His gift of gab is pretty damn amazing. You know, I almost am puzzled why he didn't get further in the business or why he wasn't afforded more. Was it because he was smaller? It could be with Vince. You know how Vince feels about the smaller guys. You know what I'm saying, bro? So maybe it was that. I don't know. But when you can talk that well, I'm surprised that he didn't get the, more of a push.
Real quick, I just want to check. Did we lose internet or something? No. It looks like I lost internet here.
Right.
Weird.
Yeah, you're swirling in circles over there.
But you're okay. Because I'm showing chat disconnected.
Yeah, no, the computer is streaming, but I also lost internet on my phone. So it's just the Wi-Fi. We're good on the stream.
But we're good on the stream.
Yeah,
okay. All right, so I got Jamie
so
and
we're
Wolfie 2-2, and you got...
I got 3-1 for Jamie. You got 2-2.
So you got Jamie on the win, but we still got to finish off,
Right. And the last one is the impact on the industry. I got to be honest. I don't feel that either one of them has really an edge on the other one on that one. You know, I mean, impact on the industry. You're talking like Roddy Piper. Impact on the industry. You're talking Hulk Hogan. Impact on the industry. Kenny Omega. Whether we love him or not, the guy's had an impact on the industry, especially nowadays with today's landscape. I'm going to give them a draw. Because they were a team most of their career, and they shared the success together equally, in my mind. You know, whatever they did together for the most part. I'm going to have to give that one a draw. So I got Jamie winning 3-1-1.
And I'm gonna go with Jamie on impact of the industry, right? So that puts Jamie 3-2. So the winner of this is
Jamie Dundee. You know, and I'm comfortable with that. You know. I'm comfortable with that. Why do you think the impact on the industry? Explain that to me, because I feel like, it was pretty much they were a team together most of their time. Why do you give Jamie a little bit more?
I think Jamie's family background is a Dundee.
Right.
I think Jamie's more well known.
That's true.
Than Wolfie D.
He is.
If you're not a call casual wrestling fan,
I feel like their greatest heights though was PG-13. If you look back on it,
and of course, you played in the big time.
I mean,
right?
each one of their greatest was PG-13. So I feel like it's fair to give them equal, credit for that.
Guys, if you don't see us responding on the pages because the internet seems to be down over here, but Matt, super producer, says everything is good. So just keep commenting, and after the show ends, we'll comment.
By any chance, was that when I dropped the elbow on that fucking book that won't go away?
Could you have knocked out the internet with the elbow?
With an elbow? Because it was a bionic elbow. I got this from Dusty. Dusty wrote.
All right. So upcoming things, folks. A lot of big things here happen in Indie Music TV. Indie Music TV now is on Roku. Will be added to the Indie Music TV app, Monte and the Pharaoh. And then there's some other things that will be coming up we'll announce in the next couple of weeks. Now, this Thursday, we have something called a relaunch party in the studio. So we will not be airing on Thursday, but we're back that Friday starting at 1 o'clock with Vampiro in studio and Savio Vega.
Awesome. Thrilled to have Vampiro in, and of course Savio returning. Good stuff.
What are you excited about Vampiro about?
I'm just psyched to
a lot of Vampiro fans out there.
I'm telling you, I dig Vampiro. I can't wait to meet him. He just seems like a really cool dude, and I always liked his gimmick and stuff. And I was bummed because I think did he have COVID? Something was wrong with him last time.
No, I had COVID.
Oh, it was you?
I had a cancer.
You're the reason why we didn't have
That's
Vampiro?
right. That's right.
Where's that book? I'll hit you with it. No, I can't wait. I can't wait. That's going to be great to have Vampiro in.
And the future announcements coming up, I could tell you in 2022 Super Bowl Sunday, we will be having Barry Windham returns to the show the new studio.
Are we going to watch the game with him at least?
Probably not. Well, we'll do it before the Super Bowl.
Well, we know our team's not going to be in it, so
right,
it's not
that's
the
for sure.
Jets will be there. They'll be buying hot dogs at the stand.
Also booked is Hector Guerrero.
Nice.
And
very nice. We got a Guerrero coming in.
Also some interesting stuff. I said, we've been approached by a production company. So that could be in the future with some stuff. But anyway, we owe it to everybody that supported us. I really can't see your comments, so I have to apologize. So all I can tell you is much love for all you do. Thank you for joining us every Thursday. Don't forget, we won't be here this Thursday, but please join us on Friday where we have Vampiro and Savio Vega in the house. Pharaoh, you got any final parting words?
No, not much other than another faberific week, and I'm looking forward to next week with Vampiro. Are you going to lace the studio with garlic? We have a vampire coming in.
Maybe.
You might wanna. You never know. You know?
We've had Gangrel in here.
We
Wasn't
survived
that bad?
Gangrel twice. Yeah, we
Twice.
actually watched him drink like green tea and stuff at breakfast. I was like, I didn't know vampires do that. They had
That's
a cup of
right.
Jello. I'm like, wow, vampires like Jello. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Before we go, one last thing.
Uh-oh.
Why did you like Vampiro so much?
I like Vampiro even more when the years went past. Believe it or not, I really grew fond of him when he was announcing for Lucha Underground. I loved what he did in Lucha Underground. You probably didn't watch much of that, but it was on for like 3 or 4 television seasons, quote unquote, and I loved him in Lucha Underground. It showed how great he was and how much more they could have done with him in the past in other companies.
Did he speak Spanish?
No. He was a color commentator who wound up being a manager and then wound up being a wrestler again, and it was fantastic. I loved it.
Wow.
And it involved Pentagon, and you know how I feel about Pentagon. So
I'm
good shit.
very excited for Vampiro.
Very excited. He's great. He's great for the back of the baseball card.
Send
Put
us
that
out,
way,
my
too.
friend.
You've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh. Thank you for joining us as always. We love you all, and until next week, later.